Important information about the upcoming transit referendum, weighing in on the future of Durham Station, and pooling resources to help those in need. We invite you to join us now as we take you inside City Hall this week. Hello, I'm Amy Blaylock. Welcome to City Hall this week, dedicated to keeping you informed about what's going on inside Durham City Hall. We begin with an important reminder about the upcoming referendum on a half-cent sales tax increase to support transit improvements in Durham. If approved by voters on November 8th, the increase would go to support bus service expansion for Durham Area Transit Authority and Triangle Transit throughout Durham. It would also support a 37-mile commuter rail system connecting West Durham, downtown, Research Triangle Park, Cary, Morrisville, West Raleigh, downtown Raleigh, Garner to Johnston County. The third element of the plan would be a 17-mile light rail system that would extend from East Durham through Austin Avenue, through downtown, Duke University Medical Center, South Square, 15501, 54, and into Chapel Hill and UNC. If the tax is approved by voters, collection could start by April of 2012. For more information about the referendum, visit the Board of Elections homepage on the county's website or tune into this month's City Life right here on DTV8. Of course, Durham Station serves as an important hub for transportation in Durham.
Durham Station is a transportation center for the City of Durham for pedestrians, bicyclists, taxi service, and bus riders. It is adjacent to the Megabus location and Amtrak train station. It offers local, intercity, and regional bus service through Leta, Triangle Transit, and Greyhound.
Since it is such a vital center for transportation in Durham, city leaders are looking at ways to improve the facility and the traveler experience in general.
Durham Station has been in operation since 2009, and now is an opportune time for us to evaluate its performance and effectiveness. Originally, the land surrounding Durham Station was to be developed as a mixed-use development from private developers. That mixed-use development would offer amenities for patrons of Durham Station in the immediate vicinity. Unfortunately, the economy has delayed that original timeline, and we're looking at improvements possibly to fill that interim gap until development sort of starts back up again. Things that may be looked at as improvements for Durham Station is improved comfort, making the station safer and more accessible, potentially adding food, retail, or other services, and engaging the surrounding community.
To make those improvements, city staff and a private architectural firm have been gathering input from residents, business owners, and public transportation customers.
The Freelon Group, an architect in Durham, partnered with NC State College of Design to perform research at Durham Station with the goal of having tangible evidence on conceptual ideas for improving the station. They used existing ridership surveys, video mapping, behavioral observations, and they also conducted surveys and interviews with Durham Station patrons to identify perceptions that they could address in addition to the statistical information.
Now that city leaders have that input in hand, they can start putting it to use and planning the future of Durham Station.
So now the design team takes all of that information, perceptual information and statistical information, and translates it into conceptual ideas by way of graphics, drawings, descriptions, cost estimates. And they provide that to the city to consider in moving forward as enhancements to Durham Station. This is what we call evidence-based design.
The conceptual ideas developed now will be considered in the next budget year and in the future. The city will ask for more public input as the project moves into the design phase.
Durham Station has been an incredibly successful project for the city of Durham. It was a vast improvement over our previous bus transfer station, and we are very excited to provide the opportunity and look at opportunities to enhance it further and make it a destination for all of our citizens.
On a regional level, the Triangle Travel Demand Model is a key tool for preparing long-range transportation and air quality plans for the Triangle.
The Triangle Regional Travel Demand Model is a planning analysis tool that we use to assess the impacts that land use decisions have on our transportation system. The outputs that come from this tool actually help us to develop our long-range transportation plan. It also helps us identify the benefits of various transportation projects across our region, whether that be a new location roadway, the implementation of transit service, or the widening of a particular facility.
The technical work of model updates and enhancements are centralized at a service bureau at NC State. The City Council approved an agreement with the university to pay $121,000 for Durham's share of the service.
North Carolina State University is what we would consider our lead model developer. Essentially, there are 4 agencies involved in the development of the Triangle Regional Model: the North Carolina Department of Transportation, the Durham Chapel Hill Carrboro Metropolitan Planning Organization, the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, and Triangle Transit. Well, a decision was made that rather than housing the lead development of the model at any one agency, that we would select a neutral agency to actually take the lead on model development. And then each of those 4 agencies actually participates in that process as well.
Work that the Durham Chapel Hill Carrboro Planning Organization would have to provide on its own if it did not belong to the Triangle-wide partnership.
It's really important for the Durham Chapel Hill Carrboro MPO to be involved in this regional effort, because all of us who drive and travel in our region recognize that our transportation challenges aren't just local, but they're regional in nature. And as a result of that, we really need a regional tool to help us understand those various interactions and to help us develop transportation plans that address not just the local needs, but the regional needs as well.
The model is needed in order for Durham and its partners to qualify for federal transportation funds. We now know what the Carver Street Extension project is expected to look like. The city's Public Works Department recently unveiled the proposed design for the project, which will create a 1-mile extension of Carver Street from its current intersection with Danube Lane to the intersection of Old Oxford Highway and Hamlin Road. The extension is expected to feature a 3-lane typical cross-section with bike lanes and sidewalks. This will provide 1 lane through traffic in each direction and a left turn lane for existing and future cross streets and driveways. Improvements at the Danube Lane and Old Oxford Highway intersections will also be included. City planners say the project is necessary because of the high volume of traffic in the area. Construction is scheduled to begin next spring. The Durham Police Department's efforts to help motorcyclists keep themselves safe on the city streets are receiving a big boost from the Governor's Highway Safety Program. The department has been awarded a $93,000 grant from the Triad Region Bike Safe Initiative. The program's goal is to reduce crashes and fatalities for motorcyclists by assessing their current driving skills and teaching them safe driving techniques. The grant will allow Durham's motorcycle unit to become the Triad Regional Coordinator, enabling it to conduct checkpoints, bike safe classes, and to organize and assist other agencies in bike safe classes across the Triad area. Working to end homelessness in Durham. Find out how agencies and organizations throughout the city recently combined their resources to help those in need, when City Hall This Week continues. Welcome back. The effort to end homelessness in Durham recently received a significant boost from the 5th annual Project Homeless Connect event.
So Project Homeless Connect is a one-day, one-stop shop service center designed to provide a whole bunch of services and interventions like housing and medical services for the homeless and those that are at risk for homelessness.
The day-long event was held at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park on October 13th.
So we have services for 20, we have housing resources for 20 people today. We have medical services, we have a dentist that'll be working on about 18 miles. We have services that are social services, getting people registered for benefits, and the VA registering people for VA benefits. So we have a plethora of services, including pet care, all here today, free for anybody and everybody that wants to be served.
While the overall goal was to help end homelessness in Durham, there were also 3 fairly simple priorities for this year's project.
To house 20 people, to recruit 550 volunteers, and to provide service to over 400 people here today.
Practical goals that seem to hit home for individuals taking part in the event.
The services here today, which I just found out about today, will help me better my living situations and my legal situations. I had no idea that Durham offered services like this, but I thank God that they do, because it's going to better me to make my life a little bit better.
The service is very excellent here and everything, and I feel that it will benefit me through the rest of my years of going on through. Well, I'm in substance abuse. And I just want to get my life on back together and continue on, living a productive citizen.
We are happy to report that this year's event did serve 455 homeless and at risk for homeless individuals. In addition, 7 people were housed that day of the event and 16 were given emergency dental care. Operations at Raleigh-Durham International Airport, or RDU, seem to be soaring these days. At least according to the Air Transport Research Society, which recently honored RDU with the North American Efficiency Award for airports handling less than 15 million passengers per year. That's just one of the highlights of the year presented to the City Council on October 6th during the Airport Authority's annual report.
We finished Terminal 2 and opened it to the public on January 23rd, 2011, and it's functioning well. It's amazing really how well it is functioning, and how building something modern and designed properly like that, how it really works and how it saves money in our operating budget.
In addition, Airport Authority Board member Robert Tier offered a look at air service over the past year.
We've had growth in air service and passengers. We have 10 major airlines, 37 domestic and international destinations, 200 daily departures. And in 2010, we had 9.1 million passengers. That's a 1.5% growth over 2009, and it's our first positive growth since 2007. Year to date this year, our growth is flat.
Tier says the airport is constantly recruiting new air service, with routes to the Bahamas, Cancun, Columbus, and Hartford being added this year. At this point, the airport's service priorities are as follows.
Domestic, San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, Kansas City, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Our priorities for international flights are Paris, Frankfurt, and Munich.
City Council members also received a glimpse of what the new facade and commercial curb will look like at Terminal 1.
We're starting construction on it this fall, scheduled for completion at the end of 2013. It's completely going to be redone both inside and out. You won't recognize it. You'll be proud of it.
In addition to releasing its annual report, the Airport Authority recently announced who its new airport director will be. Michael Languth previously served as president and CEO of the Chattanooga Airport Authority and succeeds retiring director John Brantley. The Durham Police Department is gaining a new crime-fighting tool, this time in its ability to test firearms more quickly and efficiently. Find out how when City Hall This Week continues. Welcome back. There's more progress to report in the creation of Durham's water connections with its partners throughout the Triangle. The City Council approved adding $300,000 to the Raleigh Interconnection Project, which will connect Durham and Raleigh's water distribution systems. The connection is being made to Durham's system at the intersection of Miami Boulevard and Anger Avenue, and to Raleigh's system at the intersection of US 70 and TW Alexander Drive. Once the project is finished, Durham will be able to buy water from or sell water to the City of Raleigh during emergencies or drought events. The Durham Police Department is about to take a significant step forward in its ability to fight crime more efficiently. Construction of a firearms testing laboratory is nearly complete, and the City Council has approved $35,000 to help pay for firearms analyst training.
The function of the firearms testing laboratory is to forensically process all firearms recovered by the Durham Police Department. Processing includes fingerprinting, DNA recovery, serial number restoration, test firing for entry into the NIBIN system, and e-trace through ATF. NIBIN is a national-based computer program. In North Carolina, everything's housed through the SBI right now. You test fire the weapons, and the markings from the shell casings are entered into the database, and they can be linked to cases or other firearms all over the country. E-trace, again, is a system used through our federal agency of ATF to trace the purchase of firearms, and it again is computer-based.
The police department says the lab is needed to help move investigations forward more quickly and in some cases may help lead to an arrest.
The testing laboratory is needed. It's crucial, I think, as a forensic tool for the police department. Anytime we can be more self-sufficient here in our lab, we are a stronger tool for our investigative staff. By having a faster turnaround of evidence recovery, a more controlled manner of evidence recovery, the better we serve the police department and the city, I think. By doing the latent recovery and the DNA and the test firing in-house, we've cut down our response time or recovery time of evidence from 8 months to a year to about a month to 6 weeks. The turnaround time for evidence recovery is crucial to the investigators. You have a scene, what they consider as a hot scene, the first 24, 48 hours. We recover the evidence. Obviously, the forensic staff on scene recovers the evidence. It's forwarded out to the SBI in an appropriate manner, and it comes back. It may come back in 6 months, 8 months, or a year, again, depending on their caseload. With regard to the firearms evidence, the turnaround time is again, as I stated, 4 to 6 weeks. That's a crucial lead for the investigators. By waiting, the 6 or 8 months, the lead at that point is going to be dead. It's going to be a cold scene at that point, and it's not going to allow them the opportunity to have information that could be helpful as they interview witnesses or either potential suspects.
The firearms analyst is in charge of the lab, and the additional training will help make sure forensic evidence is available for use in an investigation as quickly as possible.
The role of the firearms analyst is multitask. In addition to processing the firearms here in Durham, as mentioned, we also accept or assist other agencies with their firearms as well. Multiple agencies have brought handguns in for serial number restoration or fingerprinting or DNA recovery. We also oversee the narratives and the cases of individual cases to see if there's a link or similarities between individual cases within the city. Currently, I am about halfway through a firearms examiner certification course. Upon completion of that, we'll be able to add yet another task, which will be the microscopic comparison of the recovered casings. That will enable us to yet again complete another task in-house instead of sending it out to the SBI to complete that. The advantage of that again is we expedite the cases here. We control the priority of our cases and get the information out to the investigators a little faster.
The department will use asset forfeiture and controlled substance tax distribution funds to pay for the firearms analyst training. All solid waste customers in Durham are invited to take part in a month-long recycling contest. And all you have to do is fill up your recycling cart and get it to the curb. The recycling campaign is being held to celebrate and raise awareness about America Recycles Day on November 15th. City staff says recycling is important because it saves energy, reduces pollution, generates jobs, and helps to conserve landfill space. The purpose of the campaign is to encourage residents to start recycling or recycle even more. So here's how it will work. Residents will have a chance to win if they place the recycling carts at the curb on their scheduled collection day and have the proper items placed in the cart. Winners will be randomly selected to receive a prize package from the Red and Blue Recycling Weeks during the month of November. If you are selected as a winner, a flyer will be placed on your mailbox. For more information about the contest, contact Durham One Call at 560-1200. One of Durham's premier art events is just around the corner. Find out why this fall's Art Walk is one you certainly don't want to miss when City Hall This Week continues.
For every one of these spots, there are at least 5 to 24 others for you to use. Many folks think that people with disabilities are getting special treatment with these parking spaces, but it's really a safety issue, not a convenience. Many drivers backing out of a parking space can't see a person with a disability. Remember, accessible parking is a civil right built on safety. For more information, call the Americans with Disabilities Act Information Center at 800-949-4232.
Welcome back. The Durham Art Walk is just around the corner, and this fall's event will feature more than just great art. The free event will be held November 19th and 20th at sites all over downtown and will showcase the work of over 200 artists, plus live music, great food, and performance art. And as a special preview to this fall's walk, the official debut of the newly renovated Carolina Theater, Durham Arts Council, and the Durham Convention Center. A renovation celebration event will be held on November 17th to cut the ribbon marking the completion of the renovation of each of these 3 buildings. The event will be held starting at 4:30 p.m. at the Convention Center Plaza. In addition to that celebration, each of these spaces will be open throughout the weekend so Art Walk attendees can see all of the changes at their leisure.
In the Carolina Theater, there were a number of different needs that existed. Based upon really the age of the building as well as just usability of it, the high use of the facility. A lot of people every week go through the Carolina Theater, and either they're looking at a cinema, a video, a film, or a performance. Or they have other type of activities that they're going to, whether they're meetings or events. And so within the theater, there were basic needs, operational needs that existed. Lighting, emergency power, electrical ceilings, walls, countertops, doors, air conditioning, roofing systems, all of the basic things that you need to have any kind of function or event in a venue such as the Carolina Theater. So those are operational needs. Those are basic, including screens and such. It's an all-new appearance in the theater. The historical carpet pattern was replicated and brought forward. It's all wool carpeting that'll be very easy to clean up, and it should last a number of years. Anytime you have high traffic, such as the Carolina Theater, a number of people going through every day, why it's really necessary that you have very high quality, cleanable, maintainable surfaces. So there's carpeting, there's walls, there's countertops, there's cabinetry, doors, etc. So the appearance going along with all of the repairs, it looks brand new, it's great. So I welcome everybody to really go and look at it and see how wonderfully original the building looks.
The improvements to the Arts Council building will also allow it to serve families and individuals for years to come as well.
There's an exterior restoration that's going on right now as we speak that hopefully will be completed in the month of November. But there's a lot of interior work going on. First of all, we put a new roof on the building. That's really the first thing if you don't want your paint to peel. to put the roof on. And after the re-roofing, then of course that's the first step you want to take. And we went through the building and renovated many of the systems in need of repair, such as heating and air conditioning and lighting and power, plumbing, and the like. In addition to that, all of the finishes, the paint, the carpet, the flooring, the countertops and cabinetry, and a number of the augmentation of the operations that were needed. The performance space, the theater received new flooring, new chairs, and drapes and the like. And so really there were very few areas that were untouched. We really are going through the building at this time, completing many of those components. And I think the last piece that will be completed will be the PSI theater and then the exterior renovation. The exterior renovation includes the plaster, paint, and restoration of the historic metal. And the plazas have been repoured. That's a beautiful landscape plaza that they have maintained through contributions over the years. And we're partway finished with it, and we'll complete that job as well.
And the third package of renovations made to the Durham Convention Center created a space that's expected to be both more efficient and appealing. Besides replacing the roof and some of the building's critical systems, operational features were addressed to make the facility more attractive to a wider variety of groups.
We had movable partitions in some of the ballrooms, but we went a step further and reconfigured one of the major ballrooms to where we could have a greater divisibility of the spaces, and so that we could have a large meeting going on in the grand ballroom, and then we could have breakout meeting rooms down the hall in the other ballroom. So we reconfigure it to where we can have 8 or 10 separate breakout rooms in the other ballroom, and then several additional meeting rooms and breakout rooms down the hall in the boardrooms and the smaller meeting rooms. So configuration is, and flexibility of configuration is one of the most important things that you need in a convention center in order to be able to fully utilize the space that's available to the community. So that being addressed, we also installed a new kitchen for the convention center, a very major component. There was an existing kitchen that was really going under shared use. It was shared by the hotel and by the convention center. So if you can imagine one kitchen being serving room service as well as restaurant meals, as well as serving large and small meetings, it was very much in demand. So now that we have a second kitchen, that second kitchen is devoted entirely to convention center support.
Tune into next month's City Life right here on DTV8 for an in-depth look at these renovations, all made with your comfort and enjoyment in mind. For more information about Art Walk, visit durhamartwalk.com. And finally, as you're getting ready for Halloween, there are some things to keep in mind in order to keep everyone safe. Children should accompany an adult when trick or treating. Stay in well-lighted areas and carry your cell phone with you. Instruct your children not to eat any treats until they bring them home to be examined by an adult. Remind your children to never go into the home of a stranger or get into a stranger's car. Teach children their home phone number and how to call 911 if they have an emergency or become lost. Make sure children carry a flashlight, glow stick, or have reflective tape on their costumes to make them more visible to cars. Explain to older children the difference between tricks and vandalism. Teenagers may not immediately recognize when a prank has gone too far. And if you're driving through neighborhoods Halloween night, make sure and remain cautious and drive slowly throughout the community. That does it for this edition of City Hall This Week. Be sure to like DTV8 on Facebook or follow DTV8 on Twitter to find out how you can tune into this show, City Life, and all the city's programming. You can also find us on demand on the city's website at durhamnc.gov/DTV8. I'm Amy Blaylock. Thank you for joining us for City Hall This Week.